On June 17, a Philippine replenishment ship and two speedboats entered the waters near Second Thomas Shoal off China's Spratly Islands without the permission of the Chinese government in an attempt to transport supplies, including construction materials, to the illegally grounded warship at Second Thomas Shoal. The Chinese Coast Guard took necessary measures to control the Philippine ships in accordance with the law, and the on-site operation was professional, restrained, reasonable, and legal.
Anushka Saxena is a research analyst in Indo-Pacific Studies program at Takshashila Institution. She joins me now live from Bengaluru in India. Great to have you here with us on TRT World. Certainly, this is not the first time we are seeing an escalation of tensions in the South China Sea. Tell me, what is different this time around?
Right. If one looks at the events of the past year, the Chinese Coast Guard has become quite proactive and aggressive, especially in the South China Sea and the Taiwan Strait. In the South China Sea, Chinese Coast Guard's use of water cannons, military-grade lasers, and dangerous blocking maneuvers leading to ship collisions are the primary reason why the situation in the region has become so volatile. And the events of today are nothing new. In fact, they're a series in an escalatory ladder, which is only going to lead to under the threshold conflict in the South China Sea region. With the Philippines in specific, the dispute has been between vessels calibrated towards the grounded BRP Sierra Madre in the Second Thomas Shoal, which China refers to as the Renai Reef, and Philippines and Vietnam refer to as the Union Shoal. This is between Philippine vessels and the CCG vessels operating in the area. And even though the region is within and beyond the Philippines EEZ and under international law, China claims the Spratly Islands as a whole, of which the Second Thomas Shoal is a part. And so such actions, not just against the Philippines, but also other claimants like Vietnam and Taiwan, have created, like I said, a dangerous escalatory ladder, and it is also pushing countries to collaborate. For example, we saw Vietnam and the Philippines sign on a maritime security deal in January this year during a state visit to Hanoi by Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. And the goal of this cooperation is for the two countries' coast guards to collaborate, prevent, and manage incidents in the disputed waters. So yes, the enhancement of Chinese Coast Guard aggression is sending a negative signal to regional countries, which are now finding partnerships with each other and with other countries like the US to retaliate, because China simply won't negotiate or back down.
Okay, now, Anushka, sticking with the same theme, and I think it's fair to say that there have been efforts in the past to diffuse tensions in South China Sea, but correct me if I'm wrong, most of those efforts have yielded negative results. They have not produced anything positive. So is there anything that, in your view, the international community, the key stakeholders, should do differently this time around?
Right. So I think to present a case that under international law, Philippine vessels are not intruding on any territorial sea, but are rather operating well within their rights, wouldn't really affect China, considering that even as per their revised Chinese Coast Guard law, they are now free to perform a bunch of aggressive maneuvers, such as seizing foreign vessels that are quote unquote illegally entering Chinese waters, and even fire on towards them. And so with this kind of broad mandate of power that has been granted to the CCG, including the fact that it now has to answer directly to the Chinese Communist Party's Central Military Commission, we're not going to see China change its rhetoric or on-ground actions anytime soon. And so I think it would be the right move for the international community and regional countries like Vietnam, Philippines, and Taiwan to find ways to collaborate and conduct incident management better. Of course, because Philippines and the US are also party to a mutual defense treaty, the US has often argued that any escalation to armed conflict would mean that the US would have to intervene on Philippines' behalf. And so the firing of water cannons or military lasers have not reached that threshold yet, but we are seeing a move, a collaborative move between the Philippines and the US increasingly in the past few months to come together and respond to Chinese actions. And so I think um, the fire has to be met with fire, and international legal justifications aren't working anymore. And so I think the best move for regional countries and the international community would be to step up collaboration, including collaboration and interoperability between coast guards, and to continue to maintain a presence, as you argued that the Philippine naval commander said that business has to go on unusual, and I think that should be the right attitude to take even going forward.
Fascinating insights into the topic. Anushka Saxena, thanks very much for talking to us here on TRT World. Really appreciate your taking out the time.